on a Monday here on Overdrive, and that's right, call me Al, because Hazy B's off. He's off exploring his Christmas holidays. Al's brother in for Brian Hayes. We got Dave Feshuk of the Toronto Star in, and my man, Jason Strudwick. What's going on, Strud? I don't think we've done a show together yet.
No, you know what? I didn't know what your real name was. I'm not going to lie. When they said this,
today?
Yeah, I'm like, this is who you're doing with. I'm like, I'm not sure who that is. I'm like, Al's brother. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. Yeah. I get so it's nice. I'm learning everyone's names there. I just do new nicknames. That's all I knew.
It's okay. 98% of the people who work in this building who walk past me on a daily basis only strictly know me as Al's brother. And I'm sure like 89% of whoever's listening and watching right now, we're up on TSM Plus currently and also on 1050, only know me as Al's brother. Like, I'll be spotted in the street, and it's like, Al's brother, what's your actual name? Like, I'm so sorry. It happens all the time. So, you're not the only one, Strud. Not the only one. Yeah, going to be a fun show today, though. Lots going on. I got the Maple Leafs in action currently. A rare afternoon affair. I don't know, Struddy. Like, did you like these afternoon games when you were a player? How much does it kind of screw with your rhythm and routine?
All right, so before it's a little bit trickier because I found as I got older, or as I learned and got experience, I had to reset my clock to make it think that when I was going to the rink, let's say it's a 2 o'clock game, and I was arriving there at 12, I had to make my body think it was actually 5. So what I would do is I had get up really early and have pasta, let's say at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'd go back to bed, then I'd wake up, and then I'd head out like it was then my body felt like it's 5 o'clock, let's play games. It's hard to set it. The best part is after, though. After you're done your game, again, let's say it's a 2 o'clock game, you're done at 5, you're walking out at 5:30 or 6, you can now have a normal meal. You can actually go to sleep at a normal time, wake up at a regular time, and if the coach were to give you the day off the next day and you choose not to go out, which did happen some nights, now you'd have a full night's sleep to Saturday night and a full night's sleep to Sunday, and you'd feel so rested. It's like a day and a half off. They're the best. I think that there should be a minimum amount of afternoon games for each team in the NHL, because in theory, again, if the guys don't go out, you're getting more rest, and you're more rested than you would be with these crazy 8 o'clock starts we see for some teams on the weekend.
Well, and I guess, you'll get a little extra rest, too, with the holidays coming up. Tonight's the last game ahead of the holiday freeze. But we did get a little bit of breaking news before the game. It's currently a third period, Leafs down 2-1 to Winnipeg. And there's no Chris Tanev out there, and obviously no Auston Matthews. And that was kind of the big story of the weekend. Auston Matthews played on Friday after missing the morning skate. They kind of said, he's playing through something. He'll be okay. He plays against Buffalo, takes a cross-check from Dennis Gilbert, which we believe is, probably where the re-aggravation of the injury occurred. And now we're not sure what's going on with Auston Matthews. He missed the game against the Islanders on Saturday and then is not currently playing today against the Winnipeg Jets. And we don't know how long this injury is going to last, but this is not good news for the Maple Leafs or Auston Matthews ahead of Christmas.
No, it's not good news because this is a guy with 11 goals through 24 games played. He's on 32-goal pace.
Yeah.
A year after he had 69. So that's a problem for the Maple Leafs, who obviously have had a very difficult time scoring when it matters in the playoffs. Hard to imagine having your best goal scorer out in the playoffs is going to be a good thing. So they've got to get this guy healthy, Al's brother, and Struddy. Like, they've got, if he doesn't play again until their next game, which is not till Friday, he'll have had 7 days off. But I'm of the mind, let's give him as much time as he needs here. Like, why is he coming back? If he has come back from his Munich expedition and nearly a month off that he took, Struddy, if he came back early from that, I don't see the point of that. Like, why did he come back if he wasn't ready to go is the question I would have. Now, we don't have enough information to answer that, but there's no pressure here. All you have to do is be ready to ramp it up for the playoffs.
And the team, it wasn't like they were losing when he was away. Now, I'm not saying they're a better team without him, but they were surviving and learning how to play without him. And when they get him back, you think, okay, our star's back healthy. So if I'm in that room and my star player walks back in after a month off, I'm like, okay, he's good to go. And now he's back out again. I'm like, well, what's going on here? Right. When we need him, and we'll need him game 83. There will be a game 83, and you hope there'll be 100 for the Leafs. There will be one. But if he's not ready now and he's in and out of the lineup, how will I know that game 85 he's going to be ready to play? So I'm with you, Feshuk. I want this fixed. If I'm a teammate, I don't care how long you sit out. You get it fixed, massaged. You travel to Munich. If you have to go to India, wherever you go, get it fixed. So it's 100%. So I know game 83 that he's going in with a clean slate. Because right now as a teammate, I don't know that he does.
Well, the first thing that kind of pops through my mind now is, well, should he be playing in the Four Nations tournament?
Yeah.
Like, that's kind of what went through my mind. If this injury is one that's going to continue to linger, and obviously has all season, like, we know that this has been ailing him for a while. He tried to play through at the beginning of the year, and then he didn't. He ended up going to Germany, tried to see if he could massage it out with that specialist, and now he came back, and he didn't look 100%. Even when he got back, he still was not quite his Austin Matthews self. He wasn't skating as well. He wasn't shooting it as well. And now you find out there's another injury. I mean, good chance that he's still going to be ailing from this a month from now. Like, should the Leafs seriously consider trying to hold him out of Four Nations? Like, can you get around that?
This is a tough one, guys, because to me, like, this is something hockey fans have been waiting for so long, right? And I understand it's a 4-team tournament. It's not best on best. It's not the Olympics just yet, but it's the ramp up to the Olympics. And we've been waiting for some reasonable facsimile of best on best hockey. And this is it. You know, Canada, USA, February 15th. Like, it's a future matchup. And, you know, to deprive people of, you know, one of the marquee players for the USA and to kind of pull him out of the lineup would be a tough thing to do. But to your point, brother, like, this isn't about the USA. This is about the Maple Leafs. And if I'm Brendan Shanahan, I'm Brad Treliving, if I do not see the Four Nations Cup being a productive
Who ultimately
endeavor,
has the say in this, though? Like, that's my question. And maybe, you know, Chris Johnson's going to join us at 6 o'clock. Maybe he'll have a little bit more insight on that. But who does have say in whether or not he goes out? Like, if the Maple Leafs, can they put a stop to that? Or is it going to have to be Matthews who says, no, I'm not playing, tells management I'm good, I need this 2 weeks to rest up?
Well, Struddy knows the players decide ultimately whether they play or not, right, Strud?
Yeah, that's right. And I mean, and the guys, this tournament is something like my kids play in every weekend, right? You just get together a bunch of players and put together, hey, this is an elite minor hockey tournament we're going to play in. That's what this is. It's not the Olympics. So I'll tell you who's going to put pressure on him. Do you want to know who? His teammates. So you haven't played. So let's say that he didn't play for a month. Let's say that he doesn't play for 3 weeks. Let just whatever it is. Then we're getting pretty close to the Four Nation Cup. If he's still not right, do you think that Mitch Marner, Tavares, go through the lineup? They're like, yeah, go ahead. You're not 100%. You're going to go play in this glorified elite hockey tournament that we see every weekend all across North America. I'd be like, buddy, we can't go. We need you for game 83. So even if there's a risk of anything getting worse while you're there, I think it's the teammates that ultimately put the pressure on him not to go. I know he wants to go there, but he is the teammate first to his Maple Leafs buddies.
Yeah.
He's his fans. He's loyal to the fans. No disrespect to the Canadian or American fans. You have to give it first to the team that's drafted you, that's developed you, that pays you, and with the guys you play with. It's one thing to go there and get hurt at the tournament. It's another go to the tournament and then get hurt while you're there. Again, or re-injure an injury that is there, or make it worse than it was.
Leafs facing center crisis amid injuries, eyeing trade market for solutions. As the Toronto Maple Leafs battle through a growing injury list and a suspension, their lack of depth at the center position has become a glaring issue. According to Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman in his latest 32 Thoughts article, the Leafs are among the teams exploring trade options to bolster their lineup. This effort is coming amid increasing competition from teams like the Chicago Blackhawks and Nashville Predators, who have also set their sights on improving their center depth. Friedman didn't mince words about the Leafs' predicament. The teams currently focusing on centers, including Chicago and Nashville, must consider when others will enter the market. Toronto will undoubtedly be one of those teams, he wrote. While the Blackhawks and Predators may have an edge in terms of cap space and assets, the Leafs remain a team to watch as the season progresses. The Leafs situation is urgent, with up to 7 forwards currently unavailable due to injury or suspension. Ryan Reeves is serving a 5-game suspension, while key players like Austin Matthews, upper body, Matthew Knies, upper body, Kaje Jarnkrok, groin/sports hernia, David Kampf, lower body, Max Domi, lower body, and Max Pacioretty, lower body, are all sidelined. The team has even considered temporarily shifting Mitch Marner to the center position, highlighting the severity of their depth issues. This isn't just a short-term concern for the Leafs. Depth at center has been a persistent challenge for the team, and while stopgap solutions like Marner could help in the interim, the front office appears keen to explore longer-term fixes. For fans of the blue and white, this has been a recurring theme, the Leafs' center depth often becomes a problem at the worst possible times. James Mirtle of The Athletic recently added more fuel to the speculation, naming several potential trade targets who could help the Leafs address their issues. Among them is Ryan O'Reilly, a familiar name for Toronto fans. O'Reilly, who signed a 4-year, $18 million deal with Nashville in 2023, might be a trade candidate if the Predators' underwhelming start to the season, 6-11-3, 31st in the league, prompts a rebuild. However, his steep price tag and history with the Leafs, including rejecting a free agency offer less than 2 years ago, make this a complex and potentially unlikely move. Other names mentioned by Mirtle include former Leaf Nazem Kadri, currently with Calgary, as well as players like Michael Granlund, Nick Jugstad, Brock Nelson, Yanni Gourde, Trent Frederic, Radek Faksa, and Sean Kuraly. While some of these options seem more plausible than others, it's clear that general manager Brad Treliving will need to get creative to find the right piece without mortgaging the team's future. Cap space remains one of the biggest obstacles for the Leafs. Unlike teams like Chicago and Nashville, which have more flexibility and assets, Toronto is walking a financial tightrope. As Friedman noted, competition will intensify as cap-constrained teams strive to create room. For the Leafs, that could mean waiting for the market to develop further, a risky move given their current needs. The situation also highlights the Leafs' ongoing struggle to build a roster that can withstand the grueling nature of an NHL season. Injuries are an inevitability in hockey, but Toronto's current predicament underscores the importance of depth, a quality the team has struggled to consistently maintain. Looking back on recent years, the Leafs have often leaned heavily on their star players, particularly Matthews, Marner, and William Nylander. While these players have delivered in spades, the lack of reliable depth options has left the team vulnerable in critical moments. The current crisis at center is merely the latest example of this recurring issue. Some fans have called for more aggressive moves from Treliving, arguing that now is the time to strike while the team's core is in its prime. Others, however, are more cautious, pointing to the dangers of overpaying for short-term fixes. Striking the right balance will be key, especially as the Leafs aim to keep their championship window open. Despite the challenges, there's no denying that Toronto has the talent to be a contender, provided they can patch up their lineup. The ongoing rumors and speculation surrounding potential trades show that the Leafs are at least exploring every avenue to strengthen their roster. For fans of the blue and white, this moment feels like a pivotal point in the season. With a lineup ravaged by injuries and a tough schedule ahead, the Leafs must act decisively to avoid falling behind in the standings. The addition of a dependable center could be the difference between weathering the storm or watching another season slip away. Whether it's O'Reilly, Kadri, or another surprise name, one thing is certain: the Leafs are under pressure to deliver. And for a fan base as passionate and loyal as Toronto's, there's no room for excuses. The time to act is now, and Leafs Nation is watching closely. As the trade deadline approaches, the stakes couldn't be higher. Will Treliving pull off a move that solidifies the Leafs' status as a contender, or will the search for center depth become yet another chapter in the team's long history of what-ifs? Only time will tell, but one thing's for sure: it's never boring in Leafs land. As the Maple Leafs navigate this critical juncture, their fan base remains as vocal as ever. Toronto is a city that breathes hockey, and the pressure on Brad Treliving to make the right moves is immense. Every decision he makes, or doesn't make, will be scrutinized, from talk radio to social media, where Leafs Nation is already debating the merits of the various names being floated as potential trade targets. Among the louder debates is whether the team should prioritize a high-profile acquisition like Ryan O'Reilly or Nazem Kadri, or focus on a lower-cost, reliable center who can fill a supporting role without costing too many future assets. While O'Reilly's leadership and playoff experience make him an attractive option, his contract and recent history with the Leafs add layers of complexity to any potential reunion. Similarly, Kadri's gritty, two-way playstyle remains a fan favorite, but his cap hit and availability might render him an unrealistic target. Another factor complicating the Leafs situation is their tight salary cap. While Chicago and Nashville can make moves with relative ease due to their financial flexibility, Toronto must navigate a labyrinth of constraints to make any trade work. This likely means including salary retention or moving existing contracts to make room, which could drive up the cost of any potential deal. The question then becomes, how much are the Leafs willing to sacrifice to address their immediate needs? One potential trade partner generating buzz is the Seattle Kraken. Yanni Gourde, a dependable two-way center, has been mentioned as a possible target. Gourde's versatility and championship pedigree from his time with Tampa Bay make him an appealing option. Seattle, however, is in playoff contention and may not be inclined to part with a key piece unless the Leafs can provide a substantial return. Another intriguing name is Brock Nelson of the New York Islanders. Nelson is a consistent scorer and reliable face-off-man, qualities that would undoubtedly bolster Toronto's center depth. However, the Islanders are notoriously cautious when it comes to trades, and prying Nelson away would likely require a significant package, including picks or prospects that the Leafs may be hesitant to part with. For all the trade talk, some analysts believe the solution might come from within. Sheldon Keefe has shown a willingness to experiment with his lineup, and players like Pontus Holmberg or Fraser Minton could be given an opportunity to step up. While relying on less experienced players carries risks, it might be the Leafs' only option if the trade market proves too costly or slow to develop. Adding to the Leafs' urgency is the timing. The Atlantic Division remains one of the toughest in the league, with teams like Boston, Florida, and Tampa Bay continuing to dominate. Any prolonged slump could see Toronto slip further down the standings, putting their playoff hopes in jeopardy. For a team with Stanley Cup aspirations, failing to address their weaknesses could have catastrophic consequences. Brad Treliving's history as a general manager suggests he's not afraid to make bold moves. His time with the Calgary Flames was marked by blockbuster trades, including the acquisition of Jonathan Huberdeau and Mackenzie Weegar in the Matthew Tkachuk deal. Leafs fans hope he brings that same decisiveness to Toronto, especially as the trade deadline looms. Beyond the immediate need for a center, this situation underscores a broader issue with the Leafs roster construction. Depth has been a perennial concern, and while Toronto boasts some of the league's top-end talent, their reliance on a handful of stars has left them vulnerable in moments like this. Moving forward, addressing this imbalance must be a priority for the front office if the team is to achieve sustained success. As the Leafs head into a critical stretch of the season, the next few weeks could define their trajectory.